Hello, my name is Chris Demanu. I am currently an administrative intern at Heritage High School in the Evergreen School District in Vancouver, Washington. I wanted to take a little time, produce a DVD that helped document and illustrate some of the programs that I have worked on while I've been here at Heritage High School. The following clips are produced by Yes TV, that is your Evergreen Schools, which is part of the Community Relations Department here in the Evergreen School District. Over the past 7 years, while I've been here at Heritage High School, I've worked on many different projects. But the three following clips document and illustrate some of the skills and abilities that I uniquely possess that I could bring to your district. The first clip, a science fair, was a project that I worked on this past school year. The science fair was a project where we brought 10th grade block students, that would be science, English, and social studies, together with 5th graders at our local elementary feeder schools of Orchards and Sifton Elementaries. We, in this project, brought 5th graders and 10th graders together to build collaborative science fair projects based on the environmental sciences. Needless to say, the science fair project was a huge success, but the clip does a much better job of documenting all the parts and pieces of that particular project. The second project that I want to document for you today in the two remaining clips is a program called Youth in Government, which I started here at Heritage High School and then expanded throughout the entire Evergreen School District. This particular program focuses on citizenship and active citizenry. Some of the key things that I would hope somebody would know in addition to the clips that I'm showing today is that this program, Youth in Government, in the last 7 years has produced some future lawyers, future representatives and senators for the state of Washington, and in some cases our students are currently serving, such as the president of the Young Democrats for the state of Washington and the Sergeant of Arms for the Young Republicans for the state of Washington as well. These are students who are engaged with politics and their communities directly because of Youth in Government. This is an amazing program where students actively talk about and discuss issues facing our communities today. It didn't start so easy though. 7 years ago, 8 students and I started this program, and it then now has grown into over 100 students spread out across all 3 high schools in the Evergreen School District. It has been a monumental effort, but it's had huge successes. I hope that you find these clips that I have put onto this DVD valuable in your evaluation of me as an administrator. I hope that they help document some of the skills and abilities that I bring. But what I really hope that they do is they give you a sense of the person that I am, the people person, the ability to bring people together and to make large community-based projects successful. I thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. My information is located on the DVD. Drop me a note or send me a call, and I'll be happy to return. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Recently, when 10th graders teamed up with 5th graders to research and develop projects for a science fair, the results were a win-win for both.
The goal for Micah Hill is to find out if nature works faster on its own or with a little help.
I need to see which plant will grow faster. My hypothesis was the plant with Miracle-Gro would grow faster than the plant with just water because Miracle-Gro has special ingredients in it. My conclusion was my hypothesis was right.
For Micah and other 5th grade students from Orchards and Sifton Elementary Schools, it's a science fair that teams up 5th graders with 10th grade science students to do more than present a science project, but to learn how to successfully use scientific methods to understand the world around them.
You're learning stuff new every day, and it's just fun. You get to do experiments that you would never think of.
George Isakayan had to be resourceful, tapping into information around him.
I used the internet, I used books, I used all sorts of things to figure out how to do everything on this board.
As I started to get questions, then I started typing down on the computer, right here.
There's a larger purpose here. The Evergreen School District wants its students to take what they've learned to develop the skills in math and science to help prepare for college and ultimately the workplace. And they'll be needed in the decades ahead as employers struggle to find scientists and engineers domestically instead of being imported from other countries.
When they get to college, it's so rigorous, they decide not to pursue a science or engineering type major. And so getting kids excited about science now, teaching them that this is fun and exciting, then our hopes are that they'll continue on and take more AP classes. And that's our big push at Heritage, to get more kids in those advanced classes that are rigorous and more engaging.
Our country is going to have to maintain this level of intellectual sort of capacity so that our citizens can continue to thrive and enjoy the standard of living that we've had for the last 100 and 200 years. It's good to expose kids to critical, rigorous thought.
And not just for the fifth graders.
You know your stuff, so just speak with confidence, and I think you did a really good job.
They've been working closely with Heritage High School students who've been familiar with math and science for a few more years. They work for several months leading up to the fair on what's called a vertical teaming project, where the high schoolers mentor their younger counterparts, helping develop their topics and guiding them on their research.
I thought it was fun working with him because he's just fun to work with.
Samantha Ramirez works with Brittany Noftsker on her project. She says it makes a difference.
It gives them more like help, and they understand it more. So I think it's a great thing.
We learn a lot in school, and it's like we do so much of our own that we need to do, but like to actually have to teach someone else how to do it and really explain it, I think it helps us in the long run too, and not just them. And so it really is a mutual thing that goes back and forth.
We want our kids to work with the elementary kids because lots of times people think that the little kids are the ones benefiting, but in fact, the high school kids teaching the kids learn a lot. And that's where we see a lot of a cultural change at the elementary and at the high school. Both students benefited from the experience.
It shows them like what they can do to their ability and how good they are and what they can accomplish in just a day's work, sort of, you know.
I think having the high schoolers involved, it gave them some more engagement, just that piece to want to do better.
They set up experiments with the materials, what they're going to use, how they're going to do it, what they're going to collect for data, those types of things. Following that, they actually conducted their experiments, and then the 10th graders were there to help them with the processing of the data, but we coached the 10th graders not to tell them what they needed to do, but just kind of ask them questions and guide them to making some conclusions and interpreting the data themselves.
It helped a lot with, like, I had troubles with some stuff. Like, he helped me explain how to do it, and it really helped.
The proof of success is reflected in how the students talk about their projects, how they present them to their peers, to teachers and community members who acted as judges, and they discover answers through their projects, the end results.
And my prediction for my investigation was that the salt would melt the ice the fastest because, like, during winter, people throw salt on the ground to melt the ice away.
Saltwater plant was living for 3 days, and then it just went bam. Something happened, and that's why it died, and I think that's because of all the sugar and all the salt. So I guess my prediction was right.
And they knew the material really well. They were very proud of their work. And that's a good indicator that we were successful. When I see a kid get a blue ribbon and he says, I can, or I did it, and his parents are smiling, that's a good thing for Evergreen.
I saw students truly using their confidence in public speaking to talk to total strangers in some instances and to defend their research, to defend their point of view, to stand up and say, well, I hear what you're saying, but this is what I did. I did that, I did this, and have a conversation with an adult.
They were very well rehearsed in what they were going to say, but one thing that really stood out to me is if you asked them questions that were outside of what they had rehearsed, they still knew the answer. And so that I was really, really pleased with that.
It's a new experience for students, something beyond the classroom and book learning, putting scientific inquiry into practical use.
It seems a lot easier to do science, like know all the steps on how to prepare the investigation. You get to experiment with something that most people don't really get to do most of the time. So I think it was a good opportunity for us to do this.
I have never seen the kids so excited about science. I was so amazed by how good they felt about the projects, how excited they were to see their buddies.
As fun as it is, it still gets back to improving the academic performance of 5th and 10th graders to pass the tests required by the state to measure math and science skills.
The whole purpose of this is to increase our WASL scores. And we do science WASL practice. And just, I can see the results from the science WASL practice. I can see that I really think they're going to really do well in the WASL now.
It's great, so you know what you're heading toward for in middle school and high school, and to have bigger experiments in this, so it's just getting you a head start.
Good test scores may be the immediate goal, but the long-term benefit could be a new enthusiasm for science as students look at their work and see a means to an end, hard work turning into hard data and results.
Yeah, this was interesting for me. I wanted to see if plants would grow fast with sunlight, and I only had to water them and leave them in the dark, and they grew.
We wanted kids to be authentic in their learning. We wanted to give them choice. I wanted to let them explore, learn through inquiry, and not pull out a book and say we're doing this. And so kids, they gravitate towards it because they're excited, they're interested, they have passion.
You can't look for a better learning experience. These kids were really making it themselves. They were really engaged.
The Washington State Capitol. It's awe-inspiring. It's where the state's laws are made.
I'd like to speak out against this bill. I feel very strongly about this bill.
I would like to spend the remainder of my time speaking out against this motion.
So who let all these teenagers loose in these hallowed halls on this almost sacred ground?
The previous question has been called and recognized.
But don't be fooled. This is serious business.
Senator Myburn.
Then there are some clauses underneath that. Then I think we might want to reconsider this.
I did write one bill which was to make online voting a form of absentee balloting.
My bill is using this history book by Howard Zinn and incorporating it into all high school history classes.
I've pushed for the hemp bill 2 years now, and I finally got it passed through both the Senate and the House.
These kids are here fighting for bills they think would improve the lives of people around the state. This is the 57th Annual Youth Legislature, sponsored by the YMCA.
A lot of different kids do this program, the ones especially that aren't politically minded.
Hundreds of students traveled to Olympia for 4 days of lawmaking. The largest delegation, 73 kids, came from the Evergreen School District's 3 high schools. Some have been here before. Some are new to the game.
I think it's a great experience.
I've learned so much from it.
It's definitely made me more aware of politics in general and current events.
It's just like the real legislature.
I love it. I look forward to it all year long.
Students who aren't House or Senate members are either pages, lobbyists, or governor's cabinet members, like Jesse Flath. Cabinet members push for bills the governor wants to see signed. For Jesse, that meant speaking on behalf of
the homosexual marriage bill. Kids who are adopted by a homosexual family, who actually loves them and cares for them, is such a better life than staying in a foster home. I set a point and I've seen some kids go down and start writing, so I think it does help influence some people.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel pretty good. I mean, really good, actually.
Jesse's bill passed. So did many others drafted by the Evergreen students, teaching these kids invaluable lessons about how government really works.
I have much better understanding now. It takes a lot of hard work.
1 weekend, 3 times, 1 day, 3 times. That is 3 strikes.
The student lawmakers tackled a wide range of topics.
I believe that statutory rape, there are cases that they shouldn't be put away for life.
Topics cablecast across the state on TVW, Washington's public affairs channel. A group of student reporters also covered the legislative session.
You can pretty much go and see everything, whereas if you're debating, you're stuck in the House and that's all you really get to see. So I can go pretty much anywhere and see how bills are doing.
The students also held elections for statewide office with real voting machines used in real statewide elections. Their votes were tallied by employees from the Secretary of State's office. And as voters left the polls, they were met by exit pollers trying to get a read on the outcome of the election.
I think how they've been doing it, the exit polls, they didn't do it last year. I don't know, it kind of adds a lot of drama to the situation. A lot of people are getting tense. So I don't know if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. It's interesting.
Heritage High's Joe Jenkins was a candidate for governor, a successful candidate.
I think the campaign's going pretty well.
The Evergreen delegation had two more winners. Brianna Dupuis from Heritage won Secretary of State, and Evergreen High's Amy Presson became President Pro Tem of the Senate.
I'd like to spend my time speaking out against this bill.
And for students new to the youth legislature experience, there's the O'Brien House, where kids wet behind the ears learn the ropes before graduating to the full House and Senate next year.
I was watching the House floor debates yesterday, and I think this will help a lot. I've had a lot of fun, and a lot of things look similar, just that looks a little more sophisticated.
For some students, the youth legislature experience has sparked political ambitions.
It convinced me to become a lawyer and eventually maybe become a judge.
My goal is to be part of Congress, federal Congress.
For others who have different career goals, this experience has other benefits.
I'm learning how to speak in front of people, how to express my opinion without shooting people down. And then if I ever really wanted to write a bill, I do know how.
I mean, you can read about it on paper, but getting out there and actually doing it, it gives you so much more of a better understanding.
I didn't know really anything about government until I got in here.
They feel like it's going to make them better citizens.
They're not playing around.
And the understanding gained from this process is so valuable, Washington Secretary of State Sam Reed dropped by to show his support for the program.
The studies show a direct correlation between young people being involved in programs like this and student government such, and becoming active voters when they turn 18, 19, 20 years old. And the reason that's significant is that 3 out of 4 young people in that age group, 18 to 24, do not participate. So this program is very helpful in terms of connecting people into the system.
So while they may look like they're playing around, what these students gain here will create a better informed and more involved electorate.
Knowledge is power.
And that's good for the state as a whole.
For nearly 60 years, high schoolers across the state have learned the ins and outs of lawmaking in Olympia through the YMCA's Youth Legislature program. For the first time in 25 years, the top job was held by a student in our district. In our next story, we'll take a look at him, the program, and the wide range of students who benefit from it.
Last year, they were on the state capitol campus.
I'd like to speak out against this bill. I feel very strongly about this bill.
I would like to spend the remainder of my time speaking out against this motion.
But shut out of the Capitol itself. It was closed for repairs and renovation. No matter. Evergreen's young lawmakers looked forward to spring 2005 when they'd return to the grandest building on these impressive grounds. And this year, they returned.
Yeah, let's do it. After 60, how long? So I think we're just going to sign it.
With the young man everyone was watching.
Make me a file in here. Okay, it's the same cost. Yeah. That says, I'm not exactly sure what to think about this. Unsigned bills, and when they start coming in, put them right in here.
He's Heritage High senior Joe Jenkins. Joe is governor of the 2005 Youth Legislature.
Club, so this is a fun note.
The first governor from the Evergreen District in 25 years.
It's been amazing. It's been buzzing the whole time. Okay, thank you, Alex.
But Jenkins seems right at home in the fray, whether being lobbied.
No, I don't hate it, actually.
Signing bills.
Excellent. Glad that passed.
Fielding questions at a press conference.
I understand last year's election was somewhat controversial.